Here's a math activity in OneNote, and the first question is, what is the shape of the Earth? Most learners are going to think they know this answer as a sphere. But there's this pesky sentence at the end where it says, please cite your source. That means that whatever their answer is, they have to back it up with something. So most learners are probably going to come to a search engine. In this case, we're going to use Bing, and we're going to do a search for shape of the Earth. Generally, when you're searching for information, Bing's going to give you Wikipedia as its top result. And that's where most people start anyway. And that's where our learners are going to start. They're going to use Wikipedia a lot. So maybe we should teach them how to use Wikipedia well. So let's see what Wikipedia has to say about the Earth. Now, we want to find somewhere where it tells you about the shape. So let's do a Control F for shape. And we have a result under the table of contents. Click the link and it takes us to the shape. The shape of the Earth approximates, and most learners are going to get bored right there, and they're just going to want to copy and paste that answer. But watch what happens. When we're in OneNote and we copied text from a web page and we paste it in OneNote, it pastes that text, but it also pastes the URL where you got it from. Now, that's not an official APA or MLA citation, but it's something. It's a start. This function of OneNote allows you to start teaching the idea of telling people where you got your information from. In this case, we got it from Wikipedia. But if we read our information closely, we're going to see that the shape of the Earth is not a sphere. It's actually a shape called an oblate spheroid. Most learners are probably not going to know that. So we need to figure out what an oblate spheroid is. We tell our learners that Wikipedia is not a scholarly source, so you can't cite it. Well, we should probably give them alternative resources. In this case, we want to search for something that's mathematical. So there's a search engine called Wolfram Alpha. It's basically a search engine for math, and if we do a search for oblate spheroid, it's going to give us information about an oblate spheroid, and you can see that an oblate spheroid is kind of like a sphere that's been squished. That's actually what the shape of the Earth is. So we want to take this information and put it into our research in OneNote. So here's what we're going to do. There's a tool in OneNote called the clipping tool. So if you go up to the Insert ribbon, choose Screen Clipping, it's going to minimize OneNote, fog out the screen, and we're going to drag our crosshairs around the information that we want to clip. And what it does is it includes that clipping in OneNote and also gives you the citation, the URL that you got it from. And it actually gives you the time and date stamp. I think we've answered this question thoroughly. Let's move on to question 2. What is the function that describes this shape? Please cite your source. Well, if we go back to Wolfram Alpha and we scroll down a little bit, it gives us the function. We need to capture this, so once again we're going to take the screen clipping. But instead of using OneNote to take the screen clipping, I'm going to show you a free tool called the snipping tool. It comes bundled with Windows 7. To access the snipping tool in Windows 7, go to the Start menu, do a start search for snip, and it'll be at the top. When you start the snipping tool, you are going to get a fogged screen, just like the clipping tool. And you, once again, get crosshairs, and it allows you to take a snip of that information. I'm going to have to copy it, and I'm going to paste it in OneNote. Now notice that the snip tool doesn't include the URL that you got it from. So if we wanted to include that, we would have to go back to that web page, copy the URL, paste it. But that's a picture of a function. What you can also get from Wolfram Alpha is the text. So When you scroll down to the bottom left-hand corner, you'll see the page flip up. And it'll allow you to copy as, and we're going to copy the plain text and paste that in OneNote. And that gives you some information about the function. Now it says, please graph a spheroid that has an equatorial radius of 5 and a polar radius of 10. Now we're getting into some mathematics. So please, please, don't go away if you don't consider yourself a mathematical person. I'm going to show you some tools that will help you learn it. So let's do this. Let's go back over to Wolfram Alpha and let's copy this function. And what we're going to do with this function, we're going to go to a tool called Microsoft Mathematics. And what this is, it's a graphing calculator. But what's really cool about this graphing calculator, other than or over graphing calculators that are traditionally found in schools, is this is on a computer. And anything on a computer is accessible to other programs on that computer. Whereas I can't take the work that I do on a graphing calculator and put it anywhere else. It's stuck on that graphing calculator. So we're going to graph an oblate spheroid. I'm going to come to the graphing tab. We're going to do a 3D graph. We're going to click on the first field for the equation, and we are going to paste what we copied from Wolfram Alpha. So we said we need an equatorial radius of 5 and a polar radius of 10. So we're going to change the denominator of both of these functions. And that's going to give us our oblate spheroid. Once you get that done, we're going to enter it, and then we can graph it. Doesn't quite look like the oblate spheroid that we got, but we're going to do something up here called proportional display, and that kind of gives us a better picture of what it looks like. We can do a couple of different things in Microsoft Math. Obviously, I'm rotating around. I'm looking at all different sides of the function. We can do a little animation and spin it. But what we want to do is we need to graph this function and take a picture of it. So we can come over to OneNote, and we can do another screen clipping. And right there it is. Now the next one, it says graph the following functions and describe the differences. So what math on a computer allows